Hey guys, welcome back to the Strong Life Podcast. This is your boy, Zach Evanish. I've got a little, not even a little, kind of a bigger question that came through our group coaches chat. And we've got a couple of interns at the Underground Strength Gym. They're awesome. They ask great questions. They're very inquisitive, and it's pretty confusing with all the information out there. That being said, to kind of avoid getting distracted from so many different places of information, go to zachstrength.com. Get your free training courses. These are great for men strength training. These are great for athletes. So if you're a sport coach or a strength coach or even a dad, a parent trying to organize strength training for your kids, get on the Strong Life newsletter, aka Underground Strength Insider. You guys are going to love it. And also dig up these older podcasts. Just go to zachevanish.com, type things into the search engine. Somebody was asking me questions about youth training. Somebody was asking me questions about football training, wrestling training, running a business, starting a business. That's all there between podcasts, videos, and articles. So much information. And I think you will respect it more when you dig into it. All right. Hit the links below. I'd like to thank my partner, Defend USA Compression and Recovery Gear, and all of our friends. And also, next time we do this podcast, we will have a link to sign up for the Underground Strength Conference. This will be the third Underground Strength Con. It's going to be at Varsity House Gym like last year, which is right over the tip of New Jersey. We've got some amazing speakers. Ron McKeefrey, Joe, Big House Power, Ken, okay, Brian Kopelman, a movie producer and director. It's going to blow your mind. Can't wait to see everybody there. And we've got amazing sponsors. I'll be talking about them soon. So let me read this question. It's pretty in depth, and we're going to crush it. So this is from Philip. Philip is actually a Taekwondo instructor and does a lot of strength training on his own, really influenced by the Athletic Truth Group, which actually initially started out as Ass to Grass, ATG squats, started by Ben Patrick, also known as Knees Over Toes Guy. And he has a lot of great information. And I love having an intern like Philip because we learn from him. He's bringing in some of his pads where we could do some striking. And even if the striking technique is not perfect, it's another form of conditioning. It's an alternative form of training and conditioning that excites the athletes. It excites them physically, mentally. It builds speed in a different manner. And so, very exciting for that. And by the way, I did a podcast, a year or so ago with Owen Kreutz, and in his private training facility, they do jujitsu, they do grappling, they do Muay Thai, they do boxing and hand fighting, all to train the complete football player, specifically the lineman. I love that style of training. So here we go. Question time. Are there any purposeful applications with speed ladders from an agility perspective? And let me read through the whole question, and then I'm going to dial this in more. I think they are great for helping to train the CNS to get that impulse control with the body, as well as training some level of coordination. But also, I've been noticing the trend to try and stray away from speed ladders because they don't help that much with actual agility / speed carryover into sports. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on the speed ladders from a combat sports perspective. I love that basic things like tag or dodgeball are super effective. Combat sports strength and conditioning is all over the place, and I've been seeing more of these types of posts in Taekwondo lately. It also drives me nuts that in Taekwondo, athletes will do stuff like a bunch of kicks with ankle weights, and they will call that strength training, only to have their career ruined by age 15 to 20 with all kinds of arthritis and overuse injuries, never thinking about how what they're doing is destroying them faster. I appreciate your guys' inputs in advance. And then he sent me a video of Taekwondo fighters training on a quote unquote speed ladder. And so if you guys are listening to this, you could watch it on YouTube. I'm sorry, I don't have a videographer who could hook me up with B-roll and all that stuff. If anybody out there listening wants to do that, that shit gets expensive. It really does. And so I answered this. I said, yep, this is going into every sport, right? All these speed ladders, throwing in a lot of quote unquote cool exercises. So The ladder is not a speed ladder. It does not make you faster because you're not really producing force. Tony Villani, XPE Sports, who we did a seminar with him, and there's a bonus seminar with him. I think it's in my SSPC certification. Utilizes the ladder for stopping, for change of direction, for putting on the brakes. And he says most athletes or coaches, they focus so much on speed and acceleration or top end speed. He's like, but in sport, you need to have what's called game speed, and that is the ability to change directions and put on the brakes, which is why in the SSPC certification, you hear us talking a lot about, okay, you accelerate, but you got to be able to put on the brakes. This is where eccentric training, isometrics, and pauses are extremely good in the weight room, utilizing the weight room to improve athleticism, speed, power. So the speed ladder is a misnomer. There's no speed involved. Can it be good for increasing some coordination? A little bit, yes, but it's not super athletic, right? You're in a closed space. The activity is a closed activity, meaning I know when I'm stopping, I know where I'm going. I'm also tending to look down. I'm looking at the ladder. We don't really do that in sports. If I'm playing basketball or soccer, I'm looking at the court. I'm looking at the field. Thinking of hockey, Wayne Gretzky. I don't skate where the puck is. I skate where the puck is going to be. And so if I'm looking down, I am not going to be very athletic. I'm not going to be in a good reactive sport mode. So it's another, it's a tool. I would use it for warm-ups. I would also use it because athletes psychologically believe in it. And I've spoken about this topic before about how a transfer of training comes from an athlete building confidence in their preparation, confidence in the exercises and activities they're doing. So if an athlete likes to do something and it's a small percent, it's a small little piece of their puzzle, let them do it. If they like to do it and it boosts their confidence, we want to let them do it. So number one, it's a ladder. I would personally rather use it for not agility, for like putting on the brakes, stepping in, putting on the brakes, cutting out. I would use it the way Tony Villani does it. I think that is the best way. And from a low level form or an introductory level of plyometrics, it could also be good. Hopping through it on 1 foot, which by the way, hopping is 1 foot, jumping is 2 feet. It's interesting when a coach shows somebody jumping over hurdles saying hurdle hops. Hopping is 1 foot, jumping is on 2 feet. And so I want to use both. I want to do single leg takeoff with single leg landing. I want to do single leg takeoff, double leg landing, vice versa. I want to impact the body from different angles and different exposures to best prepare my body physically. And I say this all the time, I hammer it home, best prepare the athlete mentally, emotionally, psychologically, so they have confidence in their preparation, so their body is never put in a position that causes the mind to break down and say, oh shit, I've never been here before. They get scared and they give up position. Giving up position is giving up points, and we don't want to be in those situations. So it's not a speed ladder. A lot of kids like it. That being said, go ahead and utilize it. Utilize it during a warm-up. Utilize it when you want to incorporate change of direction. Utilize it for upper body hand walking, which is very good for training the wrists, the joints, the connective tissues, and building stability. And also, it's essentially preparing the body for impact, right? When I'm moving my hands around, kind of punching at the ground, that is very important, not just for combat athletes, but it's also very important for court and field athletes. So if I play volleyball, basketball, soccer, there are going to be many times during practice and games where I'm falling. And we see a lot of broken wrists, broken arms, dislocated shoulders. Why does that happen? It's quite simple. The athlete has not physically been prepared for that type of impact. So when I'm running and I fall and I weigh 150 pounds, my body falling, physics, it picks up speed. So now that 150 pounds is 250, 350, 450 pounds making impact. So what are we doing? Preparing the body and the mind for the demands of sport, which includes practice, which includes competition, which includes making them durable enough to handle the rigors of sport, not just in the beginning of the season, but also durable enough for when it's playoff time and it's the end of the season. And so I talk all the time about in-season training. I'm not going to talk about that now. The second thing I want to address is President Trump signing. I'm going to dig into this a little bit more, but I guess I don't know. It certainly can't be mandatory, but he's putting back into effect the presidential fitness test. That was around, I think, until Obama came into office, and Obama created the fitness gram, which was you competing against yourself, but I don't recall it having pull-up test, shuttle run, sit and reach, sit-up test, 1 mile run. All of those activities are actually pretty damn hard and very good. And I think if you're an athlete, Jim Wendler said this, if you're a teenage athlete, you should be able to run a mile. And that's Jim saying that as a football strength coach. And there's so much talk from the speed gurus out there, like running a mile is a waste of time. I like seeing athletes with a level of fitness because that higher level of fitness makes them more durable to withstand, as I keep saying, the demands of sport. There's a couple things going on with the Presidential Fitness Challenge. I want to address two of them. Number one, you have Triple H, I guess, is going to be in charge of it. Okay. Triple H is a celebrity. He's not a fitness expert. Now, his strength coach, my buddy, my bro, Joey DeFranco, is a fitness expert, legitimately. No offense to Triple H. Plus, I don't want to get my ass kicked. Joe would be better off as the guy who's in charge. My biggest concern is this, though, twofold. Number one, they had Lawrence Taylor, football superstar. I've seen highlights of his NFL plays. Guy was an absolute savage of an athlete. I honestly don't judge people for their drug use or any of that stuff. And people telling me he was a sex offender, I don't know about that stuff. So I'm actually not even digging into that. My concern was LT gets in front of the microphone, gets in front of the stand and says, I don't even know what I'm doing here, but I'm here to serve. Why is a guy that doesn't know what he's doing here, why is he called up to be on the board of advisors or whatever that is? The problem is celebrities are viewed as experts when they are not. And now we have somebody who is, if you're in the NFL, you're a freak athlete. Okay. And obviously Lawrence Taylor was a beast of an athlete. But the issue is, if he was really passionate about our youth and their fitness, he would already have been doing something about it. But to be called to the White House and not know why he's there, to me, is a major mistake. They shouldn't have a guy like that on the board of advisors. When I think about somebody who is doing stuff day in and day out to impact the youth in physical fitness, mental health, mental fortitude, strength in body, strength in mind, I think of Joe DeSena. I think about Jeremy Frisch. I think about Kelly Starrett. Of course, I think about myself. I taught 11 years elementary physical education. I'm a high school strength coach. I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked that this is what the world does. They take celebrities and put them on this pedestal when they don't have that kind of expertise. It's kind of heartbreaking. Who would be better served on that board? The guys I just mentioned, John Welborn, Joe DeFranco is a strength coach. Triple H is his client. And so I get it in the way that if we want, like Gary Vaynerchuk says, this is the attention economy. Who's going to attract more attention to the Presidential Physical Fitness Council? Is it going to be Joe DeSena or is it going to be Triple H? Joe has a very big following, but it's probably going to be Triple H. There's a lot more kids that look to him. And hopefully Triple H makes better decisions with who's on the council. And I really don't think it should be Lawrence Taylor. And again, I don't know his history of, those accusations. I don't. What I do know is he's up there saying, I don't know why I'm here. If you were to put me on that council, I know exactly why I'm there. If Joe DeSena was on it, if Jeremy Frisch, if Kelly Starrett was on it, they would know. Kelly Starrett and his wife, Juliet J. Star. I remember I mean, over a decade ago, I remember Juliet talking about how her and K-Star, actually, I think it was just J-Star, Juliet, she started kind of this walking club with all the parents in the neighborhood where they were not taking bus, they were not driving, they would walk to school. Families were walking to school. Kelly Starrett started these standing desks, which I am shocked to not see in a lot of schools. When I was in Edison, I did see them having them in some of the classrooms. I'm in a school now, and I think it would be great. I personally can't stand sitting. I hate it. I would much rather be at a standing desk. And as a dad, I would also love to see my kids at a standing desk. I think 100 times better standing rather than sitting as I am right now. By the way, this Unbreakable shirt is for Kurt Hester. This is from Sore Necks. If they're still selling these, all the proceeds go to supporting Kurt Hester's medical bills as he has cancer. So if they're still selling them, please check out the Sore Necks website. And check in with Kurt. I send him text messages on the regular. I did a podcast with him. I love that guy. Salt of the earth, amazing guy. So again, it's the same thing with fitness influencers. Who has the most attention? Simply anybody with a six pack. That's it. Just surface. We need to go deeper. We need people that actually have true expertise in youth health, youth fitness, and how to impact families. And the names of the coaches that I mentioned, true experts, those are the ones that should really be on the President's Council of Physical Fitness. The last time I remember a really big impact with the Presidential Physical Fitness Council was Arnold Schwarzenegger. And not only was he getting all of America really into fitness, but he was also working with special needs kids. And I thought that was amazing. And I believe that his family, who he married into, they were doing a lot of stuff with Special Olympics. And I just think that stuff's powerful. When I worked at a hospital fitness center, JFK was a host site for Special Olympics in New Jersey, and it was very cool. And I remember like officiating swimming, track and field events, bench press, table tennis, ping pong, and those athletes were absolutely amazing, defying the odds. So those are the two things I wanted to tackle. The quote unquote speed ladder. It's not a speed ladder. It's just another thing in this world where we're trying to do fancy stuff. Fancy stuff looks great. It attracts more attention online. But the reality is this: only a true expert can watch somebody squat and know the difference between a great, a good, and a crappy squat. Meaning, I can watch somebody approach the bar, proper hand position, getting mentally prepared before they get under the bar, getting under the bar, situating the bar on the middle of their traps, taking a deep breath, unracking the bar properly, stepping back properly. How many steps do they take? Watching them adjust their feet, watching the descent, the control or the lack of control goes from great to good. And so other people say, it's a squat. What's so special about it? What do I always say? I drive a car, but I don't drive NASCAR. Technically, it's the same thing, but they do it a lot differently. Wrestlers shoot a double leg takedown. So does Jordan Burroughs. Same thing, except he's like a 5-time world champion and an Olympic champion. Same thing, different level of execution. And here we are, speed ladders, fancy exercises, and it really it confuses people as to what is truly effective. And that's the world we're in. Influencers, attention economy, as Gary Vaynerchuk says. And so all we can keep doing, the good people, is just living our truth. That's it. I've been sharing a lot of stuff on Instagram, some excerpts from the SSPC certification, some of the business excerpts, some of the bonus training footage. Go to sspcoach.com, hit the links below, get on the newsletter, and let's see what the impact is going to be with the Presidential Fitness Challenge, what it's going to do. Also, one thing I didn't tackle, I'll kind of gloss over this a little bit quickly. It's going to offend a lot of people, is I don't think it could fully be executed today. I think that a lot of kids will complain about it because it's very hard. I think a lot of kids don't like to do hard stuff. I was just on vacation And while I was driving through town, I saw a kid running, a younger kid, looked like he was 8 years old. He had headphones on like mine, big headphones, holding an iPad, running and like playing, hitting the iPad at the same time. I just can't, I just can't be okay with that. A kid running, first of all, it's dangerous. You have zero situational awareness. Second of all, we're out near the lake. It's beautiful. And here you are completely connected to headphone and iPad. And so I think a lot of kids will complain about it. I think a lot of parents will complain about it. And I even think a lot of parents will actually get a doctor's note to excuse the kids from running the mile. From That's what I think is going to happen. There's going to be a ton of pushback from parents. And I believe the parents are going to kind of overrule what administration wants. And the presidential fitness test is going to be completely optional. And when I was teaching at the elementary school, the lady that I taught with ran the whole thing. As I kind of created my own fitness tests, and we had certificates for the kids that placed in these like higher percentages. She did the whole thing. It was very intensive, very in depth, and she was amazing. And she taught like 30 something years, and she stepped out of teaching because she was afraid that our governor at the time was going to was going to stop the teachers who are retiring from getting health benefits, dental benefits. She didn't want to retire, but she felt like she was getting pushed out. And let me tell you something, if you think I've got a lot of energy and I'm committed to excellence, she was amazing. She was better than me. Okay. Shout out to Liz Misco, Miss Misco. She was awesome. She was also a mentor to me when I was student teaching back in the fall of 1997. So I've been in teaching and in education for a long time. Physical education is in big trouble. Physical education has not really evolved much. It's kind of de-evolved because I think back to when I was in elementary school and middle school, I did gymnastics, I had wrestling, we did climbing ropes, we played so many different games and activities. We got tested in the mile, the arm hangs, sit-ups, push-ups, all that stuff. When I taught elementary phys ed from 98 till 2009, I had kids bringing in baseball gloves. Kids don't even have, most kids, in most towns don't have baseball gloves. We were playing softball, throwing softballs, playing real softball. We played a different sport every month. We would walk up to a field in the back of up the street from the school. We didn't have a field behind our school. So it was about a quarter or a 1/3 mile to get there. We always ran a hard lap around the field, which was a good quarter mile. We always did like 2 sets of push-ups, sit-ups, crab walk, bear crawl, everything. Our first graders were jumping rope. I had a gymnastics unit with all these gymnastics, tumbling mats. We were doing cartwheels and handstands and partner assisted hand walking. And then when I returned to teaching elementary phys ed in 2018, they got rid of all of that stuff. And the principal said kids were complaining and parents were complaining. And that is going to be the toughest thing that is up against the presidential fitness challenge and trying to change this world. I think a lot of people want to do what they want to do. There's just kind of this big like movement being against, hey, you told me to exercise. I don't want to do it. I want to do it my way. And so it's going to be interesting. And I hope that they get some real coaches on that council. And Lawrence Taylor never should have showed up saying, I don't even know why I'm here. To me, if you're doing something for kids, then you need to be all in. It's like having a coach, whether it's football, wrestling, tennis, basketball, baseball, soccer, lacrosse, field hockey, swimming, bowling. Hey guys, I don't even know why I'm here. I'll just, you got to know why you're there. Okay, you're here to serve. Well, as soon as you were invited, you should have been digging deep, figuring that out. Okay, great. Now Lawrence Taylor is going to want to kick my ass. But you know what? I'll do it. I don't care. Got to stand for something or fall for anything. Go to zachstrength.com. Hit the links below. If you're a parent, if you're a sport coach, if you're a strength coach, get on our certifications. If you want education, undergroundstrengthcoach.com. And thanks to Defend USA, you want 20% off, use the code ZACH. Thanks so much, guys. I am out of here.